right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks Radio. I'm Jim Hobbs, and to my left or right is my carnivore co-host, Brian Damage Forsythe of Kix and Rhino Bucket. Brian, you look chipper today. How you feeling?
Oh, much better. No, I'm back to my usual self.
You look like it. You look like it. You got your bulletproof coffee there?
I did. I finished it.
Oh, okay.
I wolfed
Okay.
it down.
Well, I know this is a special week for those who follow Kix and realize that tomorrow is your birthday. So happy birthday. So I don't forget to say that. So hope you have a great one.
Well, when this airs, it'll have been the day before, but
That's right. So yeah, you have already had a birthday. So, and then the crazy part about for the people who follow Kix, you guys, this is just like Kix week for birthdays. You got Mark Shanker had a birthday on Tuesday. Bob Perry birthday was Wednesday,
which is today for us.
yes, and then Thursday is your day. So 3 days in a row. That's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you could find a singer and a drummer that could fill out the week, you guys could rename the band and call it, a week's worth or whatever, or a week of celebration. That'd be a cool band with all members having birthdays right in consecutive order.
Yeah.
That's really. When's Ronnie's birthday?
His is December. I think it's December 28th.
Okay. Wow. So he gets a little bit robbed at Christmas time too, doesn't he? He's like
Yeah.
Peggy's New Year's. Yeah. It's never fair. My cousin's birthday is Christmas Day. So we used to always get up and have chocolate cake for him as to celebrate his birthday.
Okay.
And that was his favorite. That was just what we did. And then we went into Christmas, unwrapping gifts and such. And then like Peggy's is New Year's Day. So I always feel bad because you kind of get gypped of having your own day when it's around those holidays.
Yeah, yeah. Or when siblings have the same birthday or something.
That's true. When you said your brother's got one close by, does your brother have one this week as well?
Yeah, his was Monday, so his is the 27th. So yeah, when growing up, and he's 4 years older than me, and one of my early memories was it was my fourth birthday, so I guess it was his eighth, and he got to have a party with his friends from school, and my brother and me had to stay upstairs. We had to stay out of the way. We couldn't
Crash
mingle.
the party.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I missed out that year.
yeah, like Peggy's is the first. I think I've told you this off the air, but Peggy's is New Year's Day is the first, and her brother is the 2nd of January. So, then our son and son-in-law is the 5th of January, and then sister-in-law is, I think, the 18th, and then mine's the 29th of January. So January is our big birthday month.
Yeah.
So we used to pick one day in the middle of the month and go meet at a bowling alley and celebrate everybody's birthday, or go out to dinner and just celebrate all at once.
Yeah, that's a cool way to do it, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad way of doing it. I know last year you said you celebrated by going out to dinner. Are you going out to dinner tomorrow night, or last night, I should say?
Yeah, I would tell you what I had, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's for those of you who are watching, I'm sure we were just confusing the daylights out of you, but trust me, it's, we record on Wednesdays and then we edit the show, put some more content into it, and it airs on Fridays. But so, and talking 2 days before it actually airs can be a little confusing. So we'll have to talk to Brian the following week to find out what he
Well,
had for his birthday dinner.
well, one thing, it's weird. Uh, Shannon was looking for restaurants, and this was like weeks ago, and everything was already booked up. Like it's crazy. We couldn't get into
Really?
anything downtown Nashville, so we found another one a little further out of town, which is gonna be good because I looked at the menu and it's like, oh, they got everything. They even have the what you call it, the tomahawk.
Oh,
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
good. And before I forget, I don't know if you received. I know our friend Cheryl from Houston. She sent a text message wanting to make sure she wished you a very, very happy birthday.
Ah,
So
That's nice.
So yeah, and I told her that she sent it to this morning, and I said, well, we're about ready to record the show. I will make sure Brian hears those well wishes. I'll pass them along to him. So you got a lot of people out there wishing you happy birthday, and hopefully you get some surprise packages in the mail with some that need seasoned and thrown on the grill.
Mm.
And anyway, Brian, what's on your heart to share with the people today? What do you want to kind of go over? I know you've been reading a lot of different books, and what's on your heart to share?
Um, well, I mean, I don't know if this is I mean, I usually share everything like public. I don't know why. Like some people think it's like, oh, you shouldn't share that publicly. But I actually scheduled a colonoscopy for next week. So, well, actually, I won't be able to talk about it next week yet either because it won't have happened when we record next week. Uh,
So stay tuned. In 2 weeks, you'll hear about the results, or at least they'll be able to talk about the
yeah,
colonoscopy.
yeah. And I finally just did it. I mean, I've been putting it off. I had one like 10 years. Actually, it's been more than 10 years ago. Uh, so I'm due or overdue for one, but I don't have health insurance at the moment. So I've been just like, "Ah, I don't know what to do about that." So then the other day I just thought, well, I wonder what it really costs without insurance. So I looked it up, and it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. So
So
I
what
just
was it? Was it a buttload? How much was it?
it's 1850, which it sounds like a lot of money, but really,
It's
uh,
1 month premium of insurance.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Well, for me, it would have been like 2 months. So I haven't been paying insurance for the last year or two. No, it's been a while since I've paid for insurance. So yeah, I can afford that.
Now you
And
gonna get your lab work as well. You're gonna get your panels done, your blood work done at the same time.
um, I don't know. I still have to do that too. There's because I've been using that walk-in lab place. I just get I just order the labs and then I go have it done. But there's this Ben Greenfield who I follow.
Mm-hmm.
He has a special um, he has a special lab bundle that he does through Quest Diagnostics.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about doing his thing this year because it's more like involved and extensive, and it might be more interesting. It's way more expensive though. I think it's like $1,200 or something for this test, but it includes everything. Like it breaks down all the hormone thing, and how they'll do. I should wait. I think I have it on my thing. The like the thyroid. That's what I'm trying to think of. The thyroid. It's the one that's on a basic lab test is just some generic one that doesn't
Right.
really tell you a whole lot. Just sort of almost like cholesterol. A total cholesterol. It doesn't tell you anything. It's just a number. The same with the thyroid. So this Ben Greenfield's special bundle thing, it breaks it down. It tells you all the details that you need to really know what's going on.
So does he actually read that and give you back the results and go over the results with you as part of that package, or that he just tells you these are the panels that you need to take to
No,
really?
he's got a discount code. So if I order it through Quest Diagnostics, his thing, I can get it. It's not as much as it would have been if I would have tried to put one together myself. Because that's the problem with the walk-in lab. Uh, the one I ordered, it's pretty good, but it doesn't have. There's things missing, like the A1C, I think is missing. There's a bunch of stuff on there that could be better, but if you try to put it together yourself and put add-ons, it like you get a discount with a bundle when it's a
Right.
package, and if you try to put your own package together, it's like a la carte, so you end up like paying.
Twice as much as you should be paying,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe even more. Well, that's
yeah.
good. Well, then we will look forward to doing a show and going over all your numbers, and because I know last year you did before you did your panels, you did your fat. Did you fast or did you? I forget which. You did something different.
I messed it up. Yeah. What's the guy's name? Dave. What's the cholesterol code guy? Um, I watch his videos. He's the one that he's really interesting. I just watched one of his last night too. Um, and he was talking about how what you eat does affect those numbers, and even the day before. Like it's not one of those things where it's a overall pattern of your diet. It's like if you change your diet right before your blood test, it'll change your blood test. So I made that mistake last time because
So
I was trying to see if it would like affect my LDL or whatever, and I way up to my fat and my calories 3 days before, like the days leading up to it, and it totally screwed up my
So you
numbers.
skewed the results. So the results were basically for those 3 days that you had that type of diet, as opposed to what's a regular diet for you.
Yeah, but the one thing I did right was I didn't overfast. The first time I did my own blood tests, I overfasted, thinking it was, more is better, and it's not. Because the longer you fast, the higher your cholesterol is going to be because, and your resting glucose or whatever that is,
Right.
that'll be higher too. Because in a fasted state, all those things your body makes up for what's missing. So that'll skew the numbers too.
Well, after you get done with the colonoscopy, because I know that cleans you out, just so you can take the do that exam.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I have the stuff over there I gotta do when
yeah,
I'm
the the
done.
the 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 caulk or whatever it is, that milkshake they have you take down.
Well, no, now they just have you go out and get your own stuff. So, well, you're supposed to mix this with Gatorade, but I'm just gonna use Redmond electrolyte mix to do my own. But it's basically Miralax. So I got to do almost. I think it's a whole bottle of that
Is it the 24 hours before you start doing it in this, or 2 days before?
the day before.
Day before.
So I got to do this in two separate loads, and then they have the laxatives. So
So
it's good.
you'll be spending, have a good book in the bathroom, because you're gonna be spending a lot of time in that room.
Yeah, yeah. But I remember last time I did it, it felt so good to clear all that out. But I'm thinking now, I've been working on trying to get my gut back in order, and now this is going to negate all the work I've done. But I'll be able to reset it because, you know, we were talking before we started here about the gut
The,
book.
yeah, the gaps introduction diet, which it's, I mean, well, listen, you're going to be able to start from scratch. Like you're raking your yard and throwing the leaves away, and you're going to be able to plant whatever grass seed you want, so your yard comes up exactly the way you want.
Yeah, and I'm going to start with bone broth. That's immediately after. That's what I'm going to reset my gut with.
Yeah, for those of you who have still not got this book yet, I highly recommend it. And one of the things Brian and I was talking about off air, uh, they have a section, a chapter on page 166, if you have the book or you're going to go out and get the book, called the GAPS Introduction Diet. And the introduction diet is designed to heal and seal the gut lining quickly. So, you've been having a lot of issues. I mean, this book's going to tell you why, but then you're going to have the chance to reset, just like Brian's going to be reset because he's getting a colonoscopy. But then he's going to be able to build that gut lining back the way that he wants and needs to, so he can give him maximize his health and his immune system. But they say there's three, by doing the gut introduction diet, it achieves uh, uh, the aim of the following three factors. And one of them is, large amounts of nourishing substance for the gut lining, which is amino acids, gelatin, glucosamine, collagen, fats, vitamins, minerals, etc., which your gut lining is made from. So what you're doing is, that's what it's made from. So you're giving your gut the ability, just picture it, that you're giving them bricks and wood and mortar to be able to build the structure that they need to be able to properly house the food that you're going to be putting in that system. But if your house is not built well, um, if you don't have a window, you're not going to be able to look out. If you don't have a door, you're not going to be able to go from one room to the other. So if your house is not built correctly, you're going to have issues. The other part, and this goes for a lot of people, including myself, the other area that this addresses is the inflammation and ulcerations, because your gut lining may be sore and very sensitive. The introduction diet is very gentle, and it helps remove the fiber and any other substance which may irritate or damage your gut and interfere with the healing process. So that's the second thing that it does. And the third thing, and Brian has talked about this before, is the cell regeneration process in the gut lining is ruled and orchestrated by the beneficial microbes which normally live on its surface. And without their presence there, there can be no healing. So doing this introduction diet provides probiotic microbes in the food right from the start. So Brian's, I'm kind of like, not jealous, I'm envious that you're going to be able to literally start from scratch, because you're going to blow out everything that's been in you and have a chance to start on a clean slate. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, and the last time, my last colonoscopy, uh, that was way before even keto. So, so when I went back to eating afterwards, I didn't put the right things back in at that point. So, I mean, I always ate fairly healthy, but not really, not compared to the way I eat now. So it'll be interesting to do this again, but this time, put all the right things right back in there, and yeah, it'll be a cool experiment.
and then the cool thing, and you make this all the time, is just how important bone broth is, because it breaks down that bones, those collagens, those and you get a chance. You're using every bit of that bone broth when you drink it after you boiled it, or for however long you do it. I do it for 3 days, but I know you use a pressure cooker, I believe, or
Yeah, I do a crock pot, but I do it like for 48 hours. That's
okay.
just
And so when you can give your gut what it really needs, it's amazing. So, you guys get a chance to tune in every week, get a chance to hear Brian's journey as he rebuilds his gut after his colonoscopy. So, and look, we all got a chance to do that. And the reality of it is, maybe that's something that we probably all should do, on a routine basis, is just do a gut check, and say, hey, ask yourself, are you still feeling bloated? Are you having issues? Do you have diarrhea issues? Are you belching? Are you getting sick? Because the one thing that I recognize in this book, and it definitely rings true to me, is that your health issues all stem from your gut. Your
yeah,
diseases stems from your gut. So if your gut's right, you're going to be right. And if your gut's not right, you're going to want to make it right, because a lot of the issues you may be suffering from, whether it be, cold, sinuses, infections, diarrhea, uh, heartburn, all those issues definitely stem from your gut. So it's something that we literally should take more serious. And I think the medical profession is beginning to realize just how important our digestive system is, on our overall health.
yeah. And she refers to it as your ecosystem. Well, it's if your gut is an ecosystem,
Right.
but in how the modern medicine, they sort of compartmentalize your body, like they look at it as separate things, like your heart, and you have heart doctors, kidney doctors, brain doctors, but she stresses the fact that we're all one organism. It's all one thing. It's not separate things. So to treat the whole, and it all stems from the gut. So if you treat the gut, you pretty much treat the whole body.
And I know Peggy's dealt with so many different digestive issues over the years, and autoimmune issues as well. And again, as she says, as Dr. Natasha Campbell states in this book, those are all issues that are just, if you're having those issues, they're just reflective that something's not right with your digestive system. Something is not, um, correct. The word I'm looking for is you don't have, you're not maximizing your health because your digestive system is out of kilter. There's something off of it. As Brian's analogy a couple of weeks ago about the snakes on the island, and they take care of all the rats, but now there's nothing to take care of the snakes. Um, Same thing's happening in your gut. Your gut really, as Brian says, is an ecosystem unto itself. And when it's run amok, um, the prisoners then rule the prison, which you don't want to have happening in your body. That's when you get the headaches and all those other issues that you may be dealing with and may have dealt with your whole life. And this may be news to you that you yourself have the ability to heal yourself from within. And it really starts with being able to understand how important your gut lining is in helping your body to deal with all this, and especially in the society that we live in, putting processed foods in, which is almost, if you're stopping by a fast food restaurant or you're buying something off the shelf, you're buying highly processed food. And those things are just wreak havoc and are detrimental to the health of your gut. But just picture yourself for a while having a clean gut, and giving your gut everything it needs to be to maximize processing whatever you're going to be put into it. And so you're as strong as you can be. So it's going to be interesting to see through living through Brian, what's Brian going to feel. Because I mean, over the years you talked about your gut issues, and I know you have other, your headaches and stuff. It'd be interesting to see if those just kind of start to fall by the wayside after building your gut the right way, building it up from the right way.
Yeah, and also I was talking to. No, I wasn't talking to. I was listening to a podcast uh, yesterday with who was it? It was Dr. Barry and God. I just watched it.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that. So I'll keep talking. I'll bring it up here in a second. I remember that one.
yeah, and they were talking about. Oh,
It was a
Michaela.
Michaela. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, yeah, they were talking about. He was talking about how much better he felt, and then she they were discussing how her diet. She took it all the way down to just salt and beef, and she goes, "Have you ever taken your diet down to that?" Or that's what he was talking about when going keto and then finally going carnivore. He said he felt so much better on keto, and then when he went to carnivore, he felt even better. He didn't even realize that he could feel better until he felt better. And it's the
Right.
thing, sometimes you don't even realize how bad you feel until you feel better. And so he was talking about taking her diet, just the beef and salt, and doing it for 90 days just to see, like maybe he may only be at 80% right now. That might take him up to 100%, you know? So you don't know. And it's funny how people, with the standard American diet, with all the processed food and all that stuff, people don't realize how that does affect them, and they just think that's normal to feel like that, or they think, oh, that's just old age. But no, you might want to look at what you're eating. And then I get people commenting on my food thinking that I'm eating, like it's unhealthy to eat what I eat. But the problem is, it's like, you know, you don't realize how much better I feel from when I used to eat that crap that normal people eat.
Right. Yeah, I think in that podcast that you're talking about with Michaela, I think they call that the Lions diet, the Lions diet.
Lion diet, yeah, yeah.
So
But
yeah,
she,
people
but
go
she
ahead.
had to take it. She had to take it down to the basics because she had so many autoimmune issues. And if people listening, if they're not familiar with her, definitely check out some of her stuff because it's very interesting, her journey.
And for those of you who may be suffering with autoimmune issues or gut issues, I know, like my wife, it's look, nobody wants to feel that way. So to be able to give your body a fighting chance to heal thyself, you definitely want to follow these people who have uh, blazed this path, like Michaela and other people. And talking about what Dr. Ken Berry said in that podcast, that's how you felt. You felt great on keto, but when you went carnivore, it was like a whole different level you had jumped up to.
Oh yeah, it was like night and day. I couldn't believe it. It was like this burst of like energy and that thing that comes to you where you go, why, like, how come I didn't do this before? Like, it's just like you realize your body realizes this is what you were supposed to be doing. What took you so long? You know, it's funny.
Yeah, I think we've been programmed from the time we're kids and candy and all that stuff. We start to emotionally eat, and we're eating for the mind or eating for our emotions instead of eating for the gut. When we eat for the gut, we'll be a lot better off in the long run.
Well, and also, yeah, I think they touched on that too. Of eat for the nutrition rather than the pleasure, because a lot of people just eat for the pleasure, and then it turns into this thing where they're not even like eating when they're hungry. You know, they're eating, yeah, just to eat.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that for the majority of my life. I can't tell you how many times, because you're basically an addict. You're a sugar junkie, a highly processed food addict, and even though you may be just bloated and stuff, you can't say no. Like, you're just keep eating and eating and eating. It's like, you know, if anyone has a dog seems like he will just eat and eat and eat. So you have to, put down his food that he's gonna his amount that that you want him to eat, because if you didn't, he would just eat till he got sick and throw up. Um, so
Well, some
uh,
dogs, anyway.
so yeah, some dogs. Um, yeah, some dogs. I know I've had some dogs that you've laid food down, they're going to eat, 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 eat. And the problem is, talking about highly processed food, if you're buying pet food from the normal sources, you're giving them highly processed food that's not in their best interest. So
But
you
that's
have to.
probably why they eat, because they're.
It's empty calories, or
Yeah.
it's not dense nutrition food. It's a lot of empty calories, and it's addictive.
Yeah, and when you do that, it screws up your whole, well, the hormonal system. The the signals that tell your brain that you're full. That no longer that switch doesn't work anymore. So you don't know, even though you may feel a little full, it tastes so good that you just keep eating it and eating it. That combination that the scientists have come up with for processed food to keep you
Yeah,
addicted.
that fat, sugar, and salt combination that
Yeah.
causes and at that point you're just eating, as Brian says, cause your tongue's like, yeah, I want more of that. I love how that tastes in my mouth. So keep giving that to me. Meanwhile, your gut's going, what the heck are you doing? I can't process this anymore. And then you wonder why you have issues.
Then your
Um,
insulin is sky high, and yeah, ugh.
and then next thing you know, you get diabetes and so forth. And you know, there's this, when you look around, I mean, I take look at old pictures. Like, if you look at how Americans, for the majority of Americans, looked back in the 50s and before that, prior to 1950, and then you look at from 1970 on, and we're supposed to be so much more advanced as far as what we've learned in the medical arena, and yet obesity seems to be at an all-time high. I think the latest statistic shows that I think almost a third of all Americans are obese. And then by 2030, whatever, I think we're like supposed to be 2/3 obese. So it's getting to the point where we are becoming a very unhealthy country by the foods that we're consuming. And I think, like most people, and I was one of those most people, I ate to make sure my pleasure in my mouth, my tongue was getting everything that it loved and it enjoyed, even though my stomach's telling me no, 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 no. My tongue saying yeah, 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 yeah. And I was just eating because I love the flavor, but you cannot have a diet based on loving the flavor, because what you're going to do is you're going to get to the point where you're just going to be so sick uh, and tired that you're not going to be able to do anything else.
Well, the other thing is too, like Dr. Barry was talking about on that same podcast, you know, you can train your taste buds to enjoy more subtleties and flavor. So once you get all that sweetness and stuff that people are addicted to, if you get that out of there, you can change your palate to appreciate, like a steak. And then you can get pleasure out of that, but it's a healthy pleasure,
Right.
it's not that other stuff. But there's something you said I was going to add to. Now it's escaped me. It'll come back. I hope.
I'm reading another book right now called The Mountain Is You. And The Mountain Is You really says that every one of us has a self sabotaging uh, spirit basically in us. And for whatever reasons, we sabotage ourselves. So you want to know why you go New Year's, hey, listen, I'm going to be on a good diet. I want to lose, my goal is to lose, my New Year's resolution is to lose 30 pounds and do all this. And then 5 minutes later you're driving through McDonald's getting yourself a Big Mac and extra large fries and a Diet Coke. And then you wonder why you haven't hit your goal, is because deep down you have um, this sabotage, which you don't even know what that is. Like, you literally got to, this book tells you, you got to dive down deep to find out why, when you already know intellectually that eating a Big Mac and fries is not going to help you achieve your goal. Why do you do it? And then you have to start to understand what's causing you. And it really becomes a lot of issues where you don't believe that you're ever supposed to look good, or you're never supposed to be one of those people who are slim and trim or in shape. And so therefore you kind of resent those people, and because you resent them, your body's sabotaging itself so it never becomes one of them. It's a really interesting book. um, Great author. I love what she's written so far, and I would definitely highly recommend it. I'll put it up on the screen if someone wants to order it. But great book. It really is causing me to look in the mirror even and go deeper in my own lives of why I decided to do stuff. A lot of the habits I've already broken, but it's really interesting because I'm really going back and going, man, that makes so much sense of why I was doing that. Or and it may be something as simple as, your parents brought you up or told you anytime that someone had a mansion that they were that money causes you to become not a nice person, or you don't want to ever have money to do that. So it's a lot of stuff that in your environment and growing up could be sabotaging you and your success. And I think that goes along right along with our health. Sometimes we want to fit in and not stand out. And maybe you don't want to stand out amongst the company that you keep, because you'd rather fit in because of whatever childhood trauma you may have gone through. And so now that you feel like you fit in, you don't want to turn around and do a 180 and stand out. But the reality of it is, you want to stand out. You want to do the things that's going to give your body the best chance, and you want to feel good. You want to feel at age 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. You want to feel as good as you can. You want to live a long life. And I think it's cool. I mean, personally, I wasn't a person that studied in high school. As a matter of fact, I could care less. I couldn't wait for the bell to ring so I could go out and do my job and go do my sports and go have fun with my friends. But it's amazing the difference of being forced to have to learn as opposed to wanting to learn, especially when that education or that knowledge is truly going to benefit me and how I interact with my family and friends, because I'm just much better off, and I have the energy to want to go do fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So All right, it's that time of the night where we get a chance to tune in with Mr. Brian Shanker of the Meat Tribe YouTube channel for Meat Deals of the Week. So, Brian, what do you have for us?
All right, guys. By the way, Jim, nice shirt.
Yep, I'm representing.
Me too. Yours is bigger than mine, though. I got to get a new one. I resized them a while back and hadn't gotten out and bought a new one for myself yet. But in any case, all right. So I got a couple of deals to start us off at Food Lion. The Food Lion deals run through October 5th. Can you believe we're already hitting October? It's just unbelievable.
It is going quick.
Yeah. So they've got some choice grade boneless New York strip steaks for $7.99 a pound, and some choice grade boneless shoulder roasts for $5.49 a pound. Aldi has a chuck roast that runs through the 5th for Aldi as well. Choice grade boneless chuck roast at $6.79 a pound. That's the only deal that they have as far as beef goes this week. And Harris Teeter's got their rancher. They only have two deals this week. Usually they've got at least 4 or 5, but they've only got 2 deals running through the October 5th. Rancher grade bone-in porterhouse and T-bone steaks. The small pack is $8.49, and the value pack is $7.99. And I'm pretty sure the small pack is 2 steaks and the value pack is 3 steaks, if I'm not mistaken. You shop there a lot more than me, Jim, so you'd probably be able to better answer that question.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to. I'll be visiting them later on this afternoon, actually. So I'll tell you then. I'll text you.
Okay. Brian, down in your area, Kroger, those deals all run through the 5th. They have some choice grade boneless stew beef cubes for $6.99 a pound. They've got a choice grade boneless chuck roast for $4.99 a pound. And they've got some choice grade boneless ribeye steaks for $12.99 a pound. I don't know if that price is a good price for you down that way.
Yeah, but that's probably the packaged ones. It's hard to find a nice thick one in those prepackaged.
I think those are the ones that they'll package there. You probably just go talk to the butcher and ask them to cut them a little bit thicker for you.
So that would apply to even, because you know how they package like 3 in a pack. Yeah. So if that applies to the ones at the meat counter, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could do that.
I've noticed lately, I don't know if it's because the prices are so ridiculous these days, they've stopped putting the price on the ribeyes now. It's weird.
Oh, really?
Always have to ask. Yeah.
And that old adage, if you got to ask, you probably can't afford it, is it's crazy. But I'm not gonna buy anything that I don't know what the price is.
Yeah, or else they'll put market price. You know how they do that in a restaurant?
Yeah, market price. You're thinking, what is that? $99 a pound? The last 2 deals I have for you are from Giant Eagle, and those don't start until tomorrow. They've got a choice grade boneless Market District chuck shoulder roast or value pack steaks for $4.99 a pound. And they've got a boneless Thomas Farms whole grass-fed beef tenderloin for $12.49 a pound. So back to Harris Teeter. Jim, I sent you a picture of it. Brian, I should send it to you too. So I had a client I closed last week, and the person that I work with at the title company, you know, every now and then I'll get little gifts for clients and stuff. So I went to Harris Teeter and I picked up the value pack, the rancher grade ribeyes, the ones that you were talking about that you were cooking last week.
Right.
And I have to tell you, for rancher grade, which is equivalent to select on the USDA, they had some really good marbling. And we talked about this last week about how you guys just look at the marbling as opposed to the grade of meat. And I asked them, because they had the big sticker on the value pack that said thin cut, and those things were probably maybe half an inch. So I asked the butcher, I said, can I get these cut a little bit thicker? And he's like, yeah, sure. How thick? I said, how about 1.25 inches? So he just went back there, grabbed a big old hunk of meat and sliced up 6 more of them for me, put them in the in the value pack. So it was 3 per value pack. And those were on sale for $8.99. That sale ended yesterday. So the new Harris Teeter deals are the porterhouses and T-bones. But I was really impressed with the thickness that I was able to get and the marbling that was on them. And I'm pretty sure any grocery store you go to, even though they're prepackaged in the the refrigerated thing,
Right.
I'm pretty sure if you ask any of those places, they'll just cut them for you right then and there.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great buy. That is a great buy. And I love the ribeyes at Harris Teeter. I don't think I've ever had a bad steak from Harris Teeter.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, I was going to say, I wish they had that store down here.
I'm surprised they don't, because I thought they originated out of the Carolinas. I thought that's where their headquarters was, out of the Carolinas. So I'm surprised they're not in Tennessee by your area.
Yeah, I have not seen one.
Talking about, picking those steaks up. I don't know if I talked about it, but I went to Aldi's and picked up the New York strips, the grass-fed New York strips that they had. And, and I went through them all, but there was a two steak package that literally the New York strips had marbling. It's like, oh my gosh, that you just knew that was a good piece of meat. So I bought that pack, and sure enough, we brought it home and I smoked those on the Traeger, and they came out delicious. And I'm not a big New York strip person. I prefer ribeyes 24/7. But
yeah, me too.
It was so marbled, those grass-fed strips. They were really good. So, what I'm saying to myself and to others, just don't judge it because of the cut of meat. Look at it. If it looks very marbled and you think it's going to be, it's going to be a perfect piece for you, go ahead and buy it regardless of what cut it is.
I agree because that's where the fat is where it's at, right?
The fat is where it's at.
That's where the flavor is.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just Googled Harris Teeter. There is one here in Nashville, but there's only one. It's like a half hour from here.
Well, now you got to start making some weekly road trips.
Yeah, it's either there or Costco, because I like Costco too. But Harris Teeter has better deals.
Yeah, so you need to go there when they have those ribeyes on sale, which probably won't happen till the last week of October, since they usually rotate them every 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was just at Sam's Club yesterday, and their choice grade ribeyes are $14.98 a pound. So quite more expensive than the Harris Teeter deal at $8.99 a pound. And the marbling looked the same as those rancher grade at Harris Teeter. It was the same marbling. So I'll be headed to Harris Teeter a lot more.
There you go. Come on over. Now, if someone wants to find you on YouTube, how do they find you, Brian? And you give more deals than just what you give on our show?
Yeah, probably. So this is usually about 5 to 6 stores that I do on yours, and then 3 more stores post their deals a day later than we record. So, but to find me, it's Meat Tribe. It's all one word on YouTube, and on Facebook, it's either under Meat Tribe or Brian's Meat Tribe. And when you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, click on the like button for the videos, click on the bell to get notified every time I upload a new one. And if you come across any deals, post them in the comments section.
All right. That's what people need to do. Well, thanks for giving us the meat deals of the week. You have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday, Brian.
Sounds good, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Well, with that being said, Brian, let's change it over, because I know you guys, Kix, had a bunch of shows scheduled in September, and that's all been rescheduled.
Yeah.
And pushed back to in December in 2022. When's your guys' next gig? Do you guys have any upcoming gigs, especially with the uncertainty of the world that it's in?
Yeah, I know. It seems like we just get back up and running, and then things grind to a halt again. But the COVID thing kind of threw things off there, and then there was a couple, in addition to that, a couple of venues there's a lot of things going on these days. And it pretty much stems from the COVID thing. Venues are having trouble with ticket sales because there's some places that require proof of vaccine and all that stuff, which is messing things up because people don't want to deal with that. So then they're not buying the tickets, or there's a lot of venues said that there's a lot of no-shows these days. So, a couple of venues moved the date because of that. And, places that we normally sell out were having trouble with ticket sales. So it's kind of weird. So, so pretty much all our shows got moved from, when was the last one we did? That Thermont show was our last show. And everything has been pushed. And I think our next show isn't until the Monsters on the Mountain,
Wow.
which is a Kix and Rhino Bucket show. So I got two things to prepare for.
You've double booked yourself.
Well, the Rhino Bucket thing was going to be difficult because I had to relearn all the songs since we haven't played in 4 years. So, I thought, well, I'll have time to deal with that. And Kix was playing, so I didn't really have to think about that as much. But now that stopped. So by the time that show comes up, I'm going to have to, refresh my memory on all this Kix stuff at the same time. So it's going to be a challenge.
So you got a lot of rehearsing and practicing to do.
Yeah, which I hate to practice. I shouldn't say that. I used to love it when I was a kid. I don't know what happened.
Well, maybe it'll change as you reset your gut. Maybe it's going to reset that. So maybe you'll have a different attitude coming out of this.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, with that being said, somebody watching our show for the first time, if they've actually made it through this whole podcast, considering all the subject matters that we've discussed, what would you tell somebody to do? What's the one thing they could do to give themselves the fighting chance to feel good?
Eat your meat.
There you go. And I would second that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Brian, I hope you had a great birthday yesterday. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next Friday. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and stay out of that hospital. We'll see you guys.